Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to be doing a review on the Statice Seraph, one of my favorite pads to come out of this year. And it's honestly a great ultra speed smooth pad that you can get under $90. In my opinion, the Statice Seraph does everything well for an ultra speed pad, and I'm very excited for their next release, the Mizuki. But let's get straight on into the review. Starting off with the unboxing experience, the Statice Seraph unboxing experience is, in my opinion, quite underwhelming, as the Seraph does come shipped in its own cardboard box, and my unit did come slightly beat up, but my pad was fine since it was surrounded by foam and did come safely shipped, but my box was pretty beat up. But what you get inside the Seraph is quite nice, as the Seraph does come with two sets of black and white grip tape, gaming sleeve, a cleaning cloth, and a set of 20 black Westlab skates and 20 orange Westlab skates. For the grip tapes, they are quite mid as they are extraordinarily thick, but they are grippy, so that is a plus. In my opinion, I'm not a huge fan of the grip tapes, and I don't really use grip tapes unless they are G-Wolves mouse or if a mouse has really poor coating. Coming to the arm sleeve is alright for an arm sleeve. It is a G-Wolves arm sleeve, and my biggest issue with the arm sleeve is that there's a lot of palm coverage. And when you get palm coverage like that, it makes claw gripping a mouse a bit harder, as you don't get that grip you will on your palm, and it makes stability quite a bit difficult. But for an arm sleeve, it will do, and until someone can upgrade maybe after a month or so of using. The cleaning cloth is fine. It's an average cleaning cloth, and it wipes your pad down quite fine. But my favorite pair of accessories are the Westlab Black and the Westlab Orange skates. Both skates do have a very nice feel on the surface, as they do both perform extremely well on the coated and the uncoated version, as the skates do have a nice fluid and extremely responsive feedback on the surface while not also being extremely uncontrollable. I think the skates do provide a great smooth and ultra fast feel on each pad. I don't notice a huge discrepancy between the pads, as both skates do perform quite well on both surfaces. Maybe I'd say that the uncoated version is just a touch slower, but both skates do have the same feedback and responsive feel on both sides. Coming in at build quality, there are two versions of the Seraph. There's an uncoated and a coated version, and the black and white version is a limited edition drop at 50 pieces. When it comes to sizing, the Seraph comes in at 490 by 420 with a total thickness of 2.3 millimeters, 1.5 millimeters in glass, and zero point 0.8 millimeters in base. The base of the Seraph is fucking gorgeous, as the rose and the sword really have this unique design on them, which I love to see custom silicone bases on all these pads. I will say that the silicone base never had any sliding issues or any gripping issues on my desk and performed great. And when it comes to dust attractant on the silicone surface, there was minimal dust attractant, and I really like seeing that on glass pads, as silicone bases do attract more dust, but having less dust attractant is great. Something I will mention with the tapered edge implementation is that it isn't the most comfortable compared to other pads that I do own. It is better than average in my opinion, as a lot of companies do just do a very mid, as a lot of companies do a very mid job with the tapered edges, but I do think that Stacey Syrup does have slightly above average implementation than most companies. I would like to see a more defined and gradual taper within the edge comparative to pads like the Glassworks Sane, the SkyPad 5. But overall, the implementation is above average, and I do think they did a great job for $81. So getting into performance of the Seraph has this really nice, smooth, responsive, ultra fast glide on the surface, and it's such a nice, refreshing experience, because we're seeing a lot of textured speed pads, but this is just a really nice, smooth speed pad, and the responsive feel on this pad is so nice. The the mouse movements feel super fluid and responsive. I don't feel any of that, surface textural feel, especially on the coated version. On the uncoated version, depending on skates, you might have a more dry, itchy sensation with the skates, but with the coated version, I have this really nice, smooth, buttery feel that's super responsive. Like the initial startup friction with the surface is really low, and I feel like micro adjustments are super easy and fine to make. But when you glide and make tracking motions and larger mouse movements on the pad, you get this level of really nice dynamic friction. The dynamic friction is not nearly as fast as, say, the Rin, the Rio, or the Koku, but the dynamic friction is still really low on this pad, but it still has this really nice higher give to it. Like when you're making these larger, smoother mouse movements when you're in game, it makes tracking feel really smooth, but it still has this really nice stopping power to it, and it doesn't feel like you're basically on like a hockey puck, like an air hockey table. You still feel like you have this really good control over your like larger mouse movements, your tracking movements. And it's really apparent when you get into different games. For me, when I'm using ultra speed pads and when I'm testing out different like higher tier speed pads, I'm more gonna lean towards more reactive faster games like Apex, Rivals, Fortnite. These games that just require like more faster, more reactive mouse movements. But the Seraph still has this really nice degree of control, and I was really able to shine through with it on games like Valorant and more precise Kovac scenario because I still was able to make these really nice small micros and really nice and in a controllable manner. It wasn't really fast, or to the point where I was like missing targets or missing my shots. I still felt that I had a really nice degree of control on it. And overall, the Seraph's performance is great, and I've really liked overall, I really gotta say I love the Seraph and I love the performance profile it has. Even with both the coded and uncoded version, I was really leaning towards both versions, me having a harsher preference towards the coded version and the uncoded version lagging behind. But I still think that the coded version is a great pickup for anyone who might not have as high of as advanced mouse control as needed for the or the coded version. But the uncoded version still is on a relative speed. I wouldn't say it's definitely not as fast as the coded version, but the uncoded version still has this high tier speed limit that's way above the SkyPad 5, and it's just such a really nice, smooth, fast surface. And I definitely would recommend the uncoated version for anyone who's newer to glass and wants to get this ultra high speed glass. And for the coated version, it's probably going to be this one of the better releases of this year. Probably could be pushing up in that top 8 to top 10 area. Overall, the Seraph is a great pad, and I would highly recommend you check it out. Currently, it is unavailable on a lot of sites, but they might do a restock. But Stasis currently has the Mizuki online, so if you want to see a review on that, let me know. That's going to wrap it up for this review. Hopefully, you enjoyed my review and my thoughts on the Seraph, and I will be back to review the Air Period on Shimo Quartz next. Peace.